So today we'll go through the information from the earnings call of this company Affirm. So this earnings call corresponds to the second quarter of 2022. So their financial year ends on the 30th of June. So July, August, September forms the first quarter, and October, November, December forms the second quarter. So for this second quarter, the earnings call took place in February of 2022. So first I'll give you an overview of the company. So Affirm is a buy now pay later company. So so far we have been covering companies such as Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and so on in the KKSS sessions, right, as part of the fintech sessions that we've been having. But Affirm is a slightly different company. That's also a player in the fintech industry, but it is a slightly different company where it is not a payments processor, but rather it is a buy now pay later company. Okay, and what it does is it provides customers with a flexible and transparent way to pay at their own pace, while providing merchants with the tools to drive growth. So even in India, you can see certain buy now pay later companies. So there is a company called Postpay. Okay, and how this model works is this. So whenever you go to any e-commerce site and purchase something, right? So you will typically have the payment options like pay with cash on delivery, pay with credit card, or pay with debit card, or pay with EMI, right? Now, just like that, the buy now pay later is another option for you to make the payment at a later point in time, but get the product now. Okay, but how that mechanism works is once you complete the transaction by choosing the buy now pay later option, this company such as Affirm, so they will make the settlement with the merchant, okay, with Amazon or with the seller or whoever it may be. So they will make the settlement, okay, and they will bill the customer over a period of time. So let's say it could be like 2 months or 4 months or 6 months or whatever, depending on what sort of scheme they offer or what sort of scheme you choose from the website at the time of making the payment. Okay, and this company Affirm, or any buy now pay later company for that matter, makes money not from the customers but rather from the retailers. Okay, so if I am a retailer such as Amazon.com, and if I offer my products on that online marketplace, then for every transaction that happens using the buy now pay later option, there is a cut which the company takes. Okay, so this is how the buy now pay later company makes money from the retailers. Okay, in some cases it could possibly make money from the customers as well. So for example, if the buy now pay later comes with an interest, right? So there the interest income is something that the company receives from the customer. Okay, but in many of the cases today, if you see, they offer interest-free buy now pay later. Okay, and how do they market their product or service to the retailers? So they say that if you have the buy now pay later option on your e-commerce platform, then it will boost your conversion and sales. So this is the marketing claim that they make. Okay, and this company Affirm is present on sites that account for more than half of all US e-commerce. So e-commerce is like their primary playing field. Apart from e-commerce, even in the physical stores or in the point of sales, they also have certain partnerships which enable customers to take the buy now pay later option via Affirm. Okay, so this is an overview of the company. Now this slide shows the business model. So you see that they have listed the benefits for merchants and consumers. Okay, so for customers, it is mostly like in the form of savings and shopping services, rewards, and so on. So for example, rewards and savings basically are self-explanatory. Shopping services is what they talk about when they say they offer certain, they show certain offers on their app. So they will say that you buy this product from this website, and then you get this percentage of discount when you pay via Affirm or the buy now pay later. Okay, so that is these are the benefits which they offer to customers. And similarly for merchants, they will offer these services. So the customer analytics, the brand sponsored promotions, an ability to place ads, and so on. Okay, and this basically results for the customer, it results in an increased purchasing power for the customer, and for the merchant it generates more demand, and it drives more sales via the affordability construct. Okay, so this is their business model. Any questions on the company or on the business model?
So one quick question. See, is there, so typically, let's say if the customer doesn't pay, right? I would assume they would pay interest, right? Is that correct?
Yes, Chaitanya. So the later they make the payment, the higher the so they charge a fine or an extra fee for that, for late payments.
Yeah. So this is basically, credit card in a different way.
Right.
This is at the point of sale, probably limited to point of sale, because unless that e-commerce company offers that kind of let's say the buy now pay later model, right? Otherwise you cannot use it. So for example, let's say I would like to sort of go to let's say some website and subscribe to it, for example. Let's take Hotstar for example, right? Unless Hotstar offers this buy now pay later, right? So I cannot use it, isn't it? So whereas with a credit card, I'll be able to use it, correct?
Yes. So this is enabled only via the merchant or the retailer. They enable it, then the customers can take that option.
Okay, got it.
Here in India, we have something called Lazy Pay that I have used. And how they charge is, minimum 5% of the bill you have to pay within the due date. And if not, you'll be charged a late fee, which is 10 rupees per day. But if you pay the 5% of the bill, within that time, then you can carry forward the rest to the next period, but you'll have a 1.5% interest on that. That's all I do.
Yeah, 1.5%, just to make sure. You said 18%
yeah, it's really
annualized rate of interest.
Yeah.
And that does not include compounding. Okay? So at a simple rate of interest, it is 18%. So as it compounds, it will translate to maybe 23-24%, something like that.
Yeah.
And I use Slice, this credit card, online credit card kind of thing. So it has this feature called split your, like any purchase you can split into 3 months. So you can pay it in 3 months without any charge. After that, they start charging like really high rates, like that credit card due pay that kind of rates.
Even Ola has this feature, like up to 5,000, you don't have to pay. It will get accommodated and you will pay all at once. They give Ola credit kind of thing. Like in my phone, they have given like up to 5,000 if the bill is for any Ola usage. I don't have to pay it directly. Like I can leave it and they can pay it from my behalf. But I have to pay after 2 months. I have to pay that 5,000, any amount within 5,000 back to Ola.
Amazon also has Amazon Pay later.
Yeah. Okay. Move on now. Okay. So this is how Affirm defines its growth strategy. The first step, they say that their strategy is to expand merchant partnerships. So the more the number of e-commerce platforms or retail stores that they have partnerships with, the higher will be the business volumes they generate. Okay. And then increase consumer reach and frequency. So this is all about generating awareness with so many customers and making them transact more using the affordability concept. That is the second point. And then extend product offerings. So I have a separate slide on what sort of other products or features that they offer. So that is the third point. And then deepen technology and underwriting advantages. Now this is, so when I say underwriting, it is more of a risk management kind of thing. So for example, what sort of buy now pay later scheme do you offer to a particular customer? So do you offer something like he can pay the amount in 2 installments over 2 months, or 2 installments over a period of 6 months? Okay. And if not, if it's not an interest-free kind of a payment, what should be the interest rate charged? So how do they define this? They define all these different programs based on the creditworthiness of the person. Okay, and for this again, so they have developed some kind of an algorithm which determines this credit worthiness, and so this is also something that they consider as the competitive advantage. So this is their growth strategy. Yeah, so these are all certain additional features or services offered by Affirm. So they have something called as a debit plus card, which is offered in partnership with Visa. Now this is a physical card that you have, just like the debit card that we have here in India. The only difference being that when you use this debit plus card and pay for your transactions, not just on an online e-commerce platform, but even in a physical retail store, if you use this debit plus card, then you can avail that buy now pay later option. So by default, it will whenever you use this card, it will be like the buy now pay later. Okay, and they also have this program called as the adaptive checkout program. Now this is what I said, right? So I mentioned that they have this customized way of offering the buy now pay later schemes to the customer. So based on the past transaction history of the customer, they will offer the customized, so the tailored BNPL scheme. So that is what they call as adaptive checkout. And they say that this adaptive checkout technology has increased conversion by 26% and increased sales by 20%. So whoever has adapted the Affirm payment gateway with the adaptive checkout program, so those merchants have seen a rise in conversion by 26% and a rise in sales by 20%. And they also have the mobile app, what they call a super app, and they also have. Yeah.
Sorry, Sai. What exactly is adaptive checkout? What exactly does it do?
Yeah. So basically, based on the transaction or the past history of the customer, it offers customized buy now pay later schemes. So what would be the extent of the pay, or what would be the duration over which the amount has to be paid, what would be the number of installments, and if there is an interest rate, how much should be that interest rate, and so on. So based on the customer characteristics, they tailor this as per those characteristics.
Got it. So it is not that the customer has to choose every time, but based on the history, it would suggest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
At the time of checkout, it will be the appropriate scheme will be displayed. Yeah. And so they also offer a savings account in partnership with a US-based bank called as the Cross River Bank. So the payment time, you see, typically ranges from 3 months to 6 months. 60 months. So depending on the type of product that you buy, depending on the amount that you spend and so on, the payment time varies. And Affirm can be used to buy products from $50 to $17,500. Okay, so really a huge range of price points. And this was what I mentioned. So that predictive model that they use for the underwriting or the risk management, right, or for credit scoring the customers. So it is a very advanced machine learning algorithm where they use more than 500 features. So not just demographics, but also purchasing history, or what they call as the non-conventional variables. Of course, they have not given a list of these variables because they consider it as a trade secret, but they claim that their model uses more than 500 features. These are certain other USPs of Affirm. So now we come to the metrics, and this of course pertains to the metrics discussed during the Q2 2022 earnings call. So now you take a look at these numbers, okay, and you can see that the percentage rise of these key metrics is far higher than those percentage increases that we have been discussing for the other fintech companies like Visa or MasterCard. Okay, so there it was like some metric would have grown by like 20% or 30% or 40%. Okay, but here if you see, a lot of metrics have more than doubled. Okay, so let's take the first point, for example. Their active customer base grew by 150%. Okay, year on year. That is Q2 of 2021 compared to Q2 of 2022. The rise is 150% in the active customer base. Okay, so they have more than 11 million active customers right now. Okay, and the number of active merchants grew by 20 times year on year. So they have more than 160,000 plus active merchants, and their GMV also more than doubled. So it grew by 115%. So GMV is the gross merchandise volume. So the gross merchandise value is different from the gross dollar value that we have been discussing for the other fintech players. So their gross dollar value makes sense because they move money, right? But here, when you use Affirm, you're not moving money, but rather you're buying products, right? So what is the total value of all those products purchased using the Affirm buy now pay later scheme? So that is what we call as gross merchandise value. So that grew by 115% to $12 billion. And total transactions also, if you see, it grew by 218%, and the transactions per active user grew by 15%. That is per user on an average. And the revenue growth for this quarter was 77% compared to the previous quarter, and they expect a growth of 48 to 50% in the next year. Okay, and this particular company, Affirm, processed 1.6% of all US transaction value during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2021. So just like in India, when we have the Great Indian Festival Sale or the Big Billion Days, Black Friday and Cyber Monday are very famous in the US. So that is when you have all these huge offers on the electronic gadgets and everything. So during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday of 2021, 1.6% of all the transaction volumes were processed by Affirm using the buy now pay later. Okay, so all of these numbers that you see on the screen right now are very good indicators of the fact that this affordability construct is really picking up with customers right now, because you don't, because of the simple reason that you don't have to pay it right now, and you have the option of paying it in smaller installments over a longer period of time with no interest, right? So that basically encourages the customer to buy more, and that is the reason why these sorts of companies are growing very rapidly right now. Any questions on this slide? Okay, let me move on. So Affirm has formed partnerships with certain companies. So they have formed a partnership with Amazon last year, and this partnership alone has been responsible for 13% growth in the gross merchandise value. And the growth in the merchant base, that is the 160,000 plus merchants that they have, right, which grew by 20 times. So this growth in the merchant base is largely due to a partnership with an e-commerce platform called Shopify. So the Shopify kind of provides you with the software and hardware infrastructure necessary to set up an online e-commerce platform. So Affirm formed a partnership with this company, and this, as a result of that, their merchant base has grown very much. Okay, because a lot of ever since the pandemic struck, right, a lot of companies had to ramp up their e-commerce capabilities. Okay, and the Shopify played a huge role in that, because all these merchants used the Shopify platform to build their e-commerce capabilities. Okay, and Affirm very smartly formed a partnership with Shopify at that right time, so that when Shopify offered their e-commerce platform services to these merchants, they also said that, hey, you use our platform, then you can also try out Affirm, which is a buy now pay later construct. And of course, in the pandemic, many people lost their jobs. It was very hard for people to make big ticket purchases, right? And at that time, it was using this kind of a buy now pay later scheme to be very convenient to customers. So that is how the merchant base as well as the GMV and all those metrics grew so much over the past year. And they also acquired this Canadian buy now pay later firm called PayBright. This just goes to show that they're not limited to their operations within the US market alone, but rather they're expanding overseas as well. And they have also formed partnerships with these two companies, Verifone and Adyen. Okay, now Verifone, I'm sure you might have seen. So this is a payments processing company. Okay, so when you go to the POS and swipe your card, right? So the POS machine will be made by Verifone. You can just notice it the next time if you haven't until now. And what Affirm has done is it has formed a partnership with Verifone, so that when you go to the POS and swipe your card on that Verifone machine, then you have the option to use the Affirm buy now pay later, so that you can make the payment in installments. Okay. And they also formed a partnership with this Australian fitness equipment company called Peloton. So they make treadmills, exercise bikes, and so on. So again, this is also one more place where they have expanded outside of the US market, and they hope that they will drive volumes with this company as well. Any questions on this slide? Right. So that is what I had for today.